Good morning, dear friends. Welcome to another Tuesday morning of Eurythmy. And I'm so glad to see you again. Well, if you look behind me, you'll see that I am in a different studio today. I'm delighted that I am coming to you today from Denver, Colorado. I came out here to work a little bit with Michelle, and you have met Michelle virtually. She's my co-host. And she's the one who types little messages to you like, good morning, dear friends, welcome in. And she helps me to work with the material. And I came here so that we can also work on designing our future sessions. I hope you opened the PDF that we sent to you yesterday. And you saw that I mentioned that we're going to begin working also with creating these smaller sessions that I've talked to you about, 20 to 25 minute sessions. We'll probably do that about 9 hours later in the day than these sessions are. And that will make it possible for you to do it as an evening practice. And that will also enable me to let my Asian friends come on as well. And so we're going to do some designing on that. And as I wrote in the notice yesterday, I personally am having so much fun going deeper with you and getting your enthusiastic feedback that it's rewarding for you as well. I so much look forward to going even deeper into Eurythmy with you, with the planets and constellations, and then building up some poems from there. And I know that I have always said that my main thrust here is to help you to build Eurythmy as a personal practice. And for some of you, perhaps only a couple of you have written this to me, but perhaps for a couple of you, this is more than you need to learn. I won't stop doing these long lessons, but I'm also going to start creating some other lessons that will focus more on exactly what you can do in your daily practice, which will be the rods and the soul exercises. And with those of you who want to go further, we'll keep building the lusciousness together. So with that, here we are in October, at least for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. The leaves are changing these delightful autumn colors. And I'm so happy to be here in California. Everything turns gray or just one monotonous shade of, and I mean that literally, monotone color of gold and yellow. And here we've got the reds and the oranges and the brilliant things. I hope you're enjoying them too. And I'd love to begin. We're still in the season of Michael, of Michaelmas, this last week. And so we'll also integrate some of that Michaelmas spirit before next week, just before Halloween. We'll start looking at the experience of All Souls and All Saints Days and tending to those departed friends of ours who are especially relevant to us in this season of the year. Thank you. As always, you can write your questions in the chat, and at the end of the lesson, our dear Michelle and I will be able to work with them with you. But as you know, when I teach, I stand far away from my computer so that you can see full screen and I can't read what you're asking. Are you ready? Call to mind that before you came to Earth, you didn't live in three-dimensional space. You were, if anything, if we can have any kind of picture of how we occupied space before birth, we have to think of a sphere, a point condensed into this tiniest of all spheres, surrounded by eternity. And as you came from the heavens and were laid into the mother body, this great infinite universe was compressed and still lives inside you in this non-spatial part of you, essence of you, which you can hear when you listen to your heart. But then when you were born, you had gradually to become aware of the lawfulness of physical space, which is ruled by these three dimensions: above, below, right, left, front, back. So as you stand here getting ready to do the peace exercise with me, put your feet together, standing still, listening to your heart. I won't speak the Eurythmy meditation today, but I invite you to invoke the feeling of feet, arms, head, the great world inside you, living. Now feel the light above your head, the earth below your feet. The first line connects you to heaven and earth. Living light, more than an abstract thought, you stand in your presence. And now ask your hands, what do you long to do to become more expressive in this world of 3 dimensions? The arms want to lift out of gravity, spread them wide. Now you have the cross above, below, and right, left. And finally, now you don't have arms to move in this direction, but you move your attention forwards into the sense world, and then backwards into the invisible world. Now put your attention again in the heart, holding the balance. You got it. Now we'll move out of this position of equilibrium, but remember all the time that your spiritual self is shining inside of you in awareness. And let's go. We do as we've done before, bend your knees if you can. If you can't, you can just point down or feel gravity in your arms. But this is the feeling you need to create down into gravity. Feel thankfulness for the earth. Releasing, watch your muscle tension change as you move into levity and feel as if you could float away as a dandelion fluff, light above, and come back to hold the middle, arms extended. And now change your intention to feel front and back space. We'll move forwards first, enthusiastically. 1 step is enough, or you could take 4 or 5, but feel, I love the world of the senses. The Creator has given me so much to enjoy. Now feel your back space. Feel the space behind you. Unfold your wings back there. Imagine that star-strewn heaven. And now, most delicious of all, take all of this from your feet upwards, from your arms inwards, front and back, inside your heart. Everything that you've experienced is inscribed in your heart as the textures, the substance of the life you've lived. And from here, unfold into all directions at once. And we go down into gravity. Change your feeling up into levity. Back to hold the balance in the middle. The world of the senses draws you in. The invisible world of spirit releases you. Inside your heart, you hold an image of the whole world. Breathe. The self-reflection that we must learn to pay attention to whenever we call upon it inwardly, this inner source of self that walks with you on the streets of life, works with you in conversation. Bring everything into your heart. Now recognize that it's only out of being truly centered in your heart that you can feel peace. Now spread your arms. Now we have the intention to settle all the energy in your room. And we'll give peace in the 6 directions. Going down, we feel, may peace be below me. Turn your arms up. Gently move through the space. May peace be above me. Spreading wide, finding equilibrium. May peace be all around me. And now with enthusiasm, but without greed, may peace be before me. May peace be behind me. May peace be within me. And rest. Do you remember our striving here? You just stand still for a moment here. But you practice what it's like to carry this consciousness in life. And of course, we need to carry that consciousness in an active way, not a static way. So you don't want to be walking around, of course, always thinking of your own equilibrium you're trying to hold, but it needs to be practiced enough so that it's a habit and a resource you can always touch into. Life is real. My connection to spirit is real. And now, this week again, let's do the verse for Michael. As I told you, I do this I have done it with the 2nd graders and onwards, just to get a little feeling for the season of, I need courage. I can call upon courage as I live in this world of struggle and work. I am brave. I am strong. I am valiant. I am bold. I am brave. And we do the A, as you remember last week. It's also possible to do the B for this sound, but we'll do it as we did last week. Here we go. I am brave. I am strong. I am, there's a V sound. I am valiant. I am bold. For the sun fills my heart with its life-giving gold. I am helpful and truthful and loving and free. For the sun's golden rays do shine brightly in me. The little E. Thank you. A little bit of vigor here. And if you would please step over to your wall and get your Eurythmy rod out. Once again, as I've told you, I do rods every day, and we'll only focus on 2 of them right now because we have so many other wonderful things to work on. The 7-fold and the waterfall exercise. The 7-fold, this precision and exactitude. And remember, if you can't recall how to do it, or if you didn't learn it with me, go back and find it in the webinar 3 series. Here we go. We'll go down into gravity, up into lightness, to the right side with absolute precision, in front of the hips, not too wide and not too narrow, not too crooked. Precision to the right side, right arm is up. To the left side, left arm is up. To the right side, arm is right at the shoulder. Above, parallel arms. Below, back in the middle. I go down and I affirm this, may peace be below me, I'm down. May peace be above me, but note I feel grounded on my feet. I don't lift up and just feel light. I feel grounded through and through. Now, the right side, the left side, the right side, above, below, in the middle. You notice with these 7 counts, we have a kind of mirroring structure below, above, right. This is count number 7. And from here we go back and revisit the ones that we did in the first half. Down into gravity, up into levity, to your right side, your left side, your right side, above, below, in the middle. And now with steps, going forward into the world of senses, if you will, going backwards to the right side, the strong side, the will side, to the heart side of the body, to the will side, straight back, not diagonally, above, straight forward, below, and the small side step brings you right back to where you started. Again, down, up, right, left, right, up, down, middle, below, above, right, left, right, above, below. Keep going, and I will talk to you as we do. With that, you'll remember we have been working on knowing where we're going to go before we get there. I see myself there. I see myself back there. We practice it enough that we don't have to think about what we're going to do, but we're always aware fully of where we're going and how to fulfill our intention. All right, one last time with 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Enjoy doing it quickly, as quickly as you can, without losing your precision. And back in the middle. And rest. Thank you. Let's continue with the waterfall exercise. Remember, what's important here is to fulfill the beautiful curve around yourself, not just to catch the rod, but to make a complete circle. So enjoy this gorgeous curve far out in front of you, high above you, back behind you, and then catch. The circle is completed. Take it around your left side. And again, probably some quarter of you, half of you, 3/4, many people drop the rod. We would all be laughing together. Good. And again, up. This beautiful full circle around you. Reminding yourself that you are both front space here and up space and back space and below. Good. Let's do that with a little bit of walking forwards and backwards. We come forwards and back. You don't need to count how many steps, but do challenge yourself to make sure that you're touching with your toes first as we practice with all of our walking. And back and return. And once again, up and here, just a little moment. I'm kind of hovering here and I return back and ground. Good. And as I told you before, we have a little Michael verse that we do when we do this with the children in the fall, like this. Thou Michael, the victorious, I make my circle under thy shield. Thou Michael of the white steed and the bright, brilliant blade. Thou conqueror of the dragon, be thou at my back. Thou ranger of the heavens, thou warrior of the King of all, thou Michael, the victorious, my pride and my guide. Thou Michael, the victorious, the glory of my eyes. Thank you. Let's put the rods away. This theme of Michael and courage and all is something that we do here in the Northern Hemisphere, at least here where the weather is changing. We do this at the beginning of the school year, which kind of carries this theme with the children of Michaelmas and of getting ready for the work and the adventures ahead. And we generally will stop using the Michael verses by the end of October or a little bit before, and we start plunging into other colors, other experiences. Okay, let's go back now and recall what we have harvested from the peace exercise. And our next step will be to go back into the contraction expansion, finding the heart center. Standing straight. You can enliven for yourself, if you like, this picture of the universe being compacted into a sphere that lives in your heart. And in contraction expansion, we allow this self to come into heart and open back up to source in the great world all. We can begin either here or expanded. It's always our choice. Let's begin expanded. The arms are opened like wings. We touch the stars, we touch the great world, and we bring that into ourselves. It's nice to feel that the spiritual world wants to nurture us. Here we become most intimate, and then turn that energy around, sharing what you have in your heart, emptying yourself, trusting that this bowl of love will never end. Give it away and receive. Go inside so small that you're trying not to feel like you're looking at your center. Go inside so small that you're feeling your center. Only then is the contraction complete. You feel, and you have this wonderful feeling from inside. I have to give back. Your sphere dissolves in the periphery and comes back into you, filling you, but now feel your heart. I keep my eyes open, yes, but I feel it's touched me. I've been touched. And from here, as a seed, bit by bit, I open. And now we can notice also this realm here. When I'm in about this zone, I feel the world. But when I go beyond that, I feel stars. And I come from stars back into the world and deeper into that part of creation that I'm personally responsible inside my own constitution. And then from there, I give back in a rightful way and right relationship and allow myself to be nourished. I'll speak the poem. Within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul weaves the warmth of the world. Great wings, I will breathe. The light of the sun, feel those wings. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me, and warmth of the world. Now drop your arms, warmth of the world, flow through me. Standing, feel yourself, this upright self, filled with light, living light, and your heart listening, perceiving, remembering. Good. We're going to continue on with the colors today. And let's remember that last week we did two, the first color pair, yellow and blue. And the way that I move my arms when I do yellow and blue is in many ways similar to the way that I move my arms when I'm doing contraction expansion. I'd like to explain that for a second. If I do a vowel, I shape my space so strongly that I really give form to what I'm doing. When I do, for instance, the yellow, I have less form, I have clarity of movement, but my arms are truly light. And even when I do blue, which is a dark color, I don't have a lot of grip. My muscles stay very filled with light, fluid, but not strong. In a moment, we'll also add red and green to our palette. And we'll see that when we do red, for instance, we need a different kind of muscle strength. But I want to begin by reminding us that the colors don't have the deliberate forming power that the sounds do, although we will next, not in this module, but later, we'll learn to color the vowels in different ways. But we'll come to that later. But let's remember the yellow and blue polarity. With the yellow, we are easily reminded of the sun, which is giving itself to light. And weightlessly, but with clarity and straight lines, let's spread our arms into yellow. Again, the picture, the thought of the sun is the clearest example we have. Remember how a child draws yellow suns, and it's natural to draw those rays around it. Yellow doesn't have to be out, it's up. We could put yellow here, but it's not its home ground. And I'll have to teach you how to differentiate that from green. We can also shine yellow downwards. But yellow is happiness being up because that's the realm of light, weightlessness, and light, color lightness. There we go, yellow, yellow, yellow. And when we practice moving yellow, it's happiest if we practice with straight lines. So let's go forward in a yellow way. Let's go backwards in a yellow way. Once again, you'll notice how nice it is if you remember to touch with your toes first. As you touch the ground, threefold walking. In this case, sometimes I tell the students they're allowed to do it on tiptoes, but in general, tiptoe walking is not fruitful for eurythmy. We need to touch with the toes and to ground. Here we go. Good. Let's do a little diagonal, diagonally right, diagonally left. Back to here. Actually, let's do a triangle, diagonally right, straight across, and then back home. Diagonally here, yellow, straight across in a triangle, yellow, back home again, yellow, and rest, and yellow, yellow, yellow. Let's try it the opposite way, starting left, forwards in yellow, light. I feel delight and rest. Blue, you remember from last week, has a polar experience. Blue loves simply creating warm curves around things. Here and here and here. Blue wants to embrace. If you start with your arms down low, you're experiencing simply darkness. I won't say that this is black, but it's just darkness, absence of shining light. Black goes further. And now let's enter dark blue. And we get to dark blue simply by rounding a little bit. And we can let our blue get bigger and more expansive. Right here, down here, I'm not very far yet. I'm actually in a realm of perhaps navy blue. Here, come up to here, moving towards Prussian and cobalt. And then let's see, blue likes all roundnesses. I can do a blue up here too, but that would have to start entering the realm of sky blue. So you can imagine here, your arms light blue around the yellow bowl of the sun in front of you. If you can feel the whole dome of blue sky and holding it rounded all the way as you go into dark space. The Prussian blue, the navy blue, headed into indigo blue. Blue feels like it has more gravity to it. Remember, we're not pointing the arms, we're letting them be soft. And being able to move like that is because in eurythmy, we remember you move from your wings. And the more you have done eurythmy, the more you'll understand how to engage your etheric body, which lets you move your arms weightlessly. There we go, and down again. Yes, I'm very realistic. I know in the beginning, until you've learned how to be weightless, this can tire your arms. But through practice, I promise you, you can get there. Remember to move your arms from your wings, from your shoulder blades, up, blue, and down, blue. Good. And blue likes curves. We'll make a circle starting forward to the right. Remember what we did last week. Move forward, feeling the space out there to your side. And now we'll take blue back there. Remember what we did? We take the curve. My point of connection is in front of me and then to the back there and around. Thank you. We'll go the other way. Forgive me that I'm layering these two tasks on top of each other, curves and color. We'll get to that though. So from here, I'm feeling my circle behind me, to my left side, in front of me. I'm feeling the circle in front of me to my right side, directly out to my right side, behind my right side and down, all in blue. Behind me to the right side, straight out to my right side, in front of me. And then in front of me to my left side, straight out to my left side, behind me to the left, back to here once more, behind me to the left, to my left side. And you see how we're trying to feel this blueness the whole way around. It's a natural marriage to my right side, to the back, and rest. Thank you. And now, what happens when yellow and blue merge? They come into green. Yellow here and blue here. You can feel the difference so strongly. Yellow, it's so extroverted. Blue, it's so nurturing. What happens when the yellow and the blue come together? We come to, as we all know, green. And green, spread across the fields of grasses, the meadows. Green is holding the balance between those two realms. Green is the peacemaker. Green holds the balance. If I make this expansive movement a little bit higher, I'm in yellow-green. I prevent myself from being too much yellow. Here, yellow-green. And if I make this movement here, I'm in blue-green. So I'm in the height that I was for a nice cobalt blue here, but I don't just stay rounded. I have to let my hands cross out of the character of the yellow. So the yellow always is making straight lines, but the blue is always holding things back. Green and green. In great green fields, I'm in the realm of peace. Green and green. So that's our next color. We met that a little bit in the expansion contraction. Here we were in the yellow realm. Here we're approaching what's emotionally the green realm. And here we're using the power of blue to come in and hold the heart space. And from here, we're moving out of center, and then the sun starts to shine through our arms, expand to the heights. So contraction expansion is not a pure color exercise, but we can find the colors in it. Blue surrounding the yellow in your heart. Now the yellow in your heart starts to grow outwards. Here's the social realm, the green realm. The yellow in your arms expands wide, but you're also aware of the blue sky all around you. The blue sky starts to push you in gently. Your yellow starts to turn to green. The blue comes all the way in. There, have you found the piece of deep blue surrounding the yellow light in your heart? Let that grow outwards. Again, the yellow begins to grow, pushing, illuminating the blue from within, through the green. And pure yellow, you discover that your pure yellow is surrounded by heaven's blue. Heaven's blue now begins to be more powerful, causes your yellow, outside yellow, to contract. Come into this in-between realm. Heaven's blue comes more and more as a bowl around you till you feel the yellow in your heart. You found it again. The yellow in your heart shines from inside against the bowl of blue, making it green for a moment. And there you go. And rest. So among other things, we have a play, exploration in straight lines and curves. And then the green is in the balance, dancing in a way, I use that word figuratively, dancing between the yellow and the blue. It's the realm of green. But now let's turn to red. It would be most fun if we were in a class together, a live class. It's very clear to recognize what red is in a class because you can do a little drama with it. But imagine you're standing with someone and the other person is coming at you with red energy. This is you and this is this red person. In a class, this would be me. And it's kind of frightful because in your face that, that's red energy, this one. Red is self-assertive. It takes this selfless streaming of yellow and burns it. So it's when our power from inside becomes totally self-assertive. Of course, we have to explore how that can be a fabulous energy. But if it's too much, it's really quite overwhelming. What does this person feel when red comes at them? They want to withdraw in blue. So that's a class lesson that we do sometimes. Here you are, blue, red, and the blue just says, I'll back away from that red energy. So what does that feel like in our bodies? It's no longer this selfless yellow, or this containing blue, or the peacemaker green. The red moves with this outer burning fire. I'm going to turn sideways and show you, to start by showing you that red wants to push against things. And the pushing, I find, is best experienced if I hold my hands like this, and I feel like I'm going up a curved wall. And all the way from below above, I'm pushing against that wall. I'm stronger than the wall in my expression. Red. Now with this, my whole body is also going to imitate this curve. So I make a convex curve with my body like this. Red. What I feel at this moment is not just that my arms are in the air. At this moment, I feel this whole curve that I've come up against. And if the student was there that I wanted to intimidate, again, always a game, but I would come at them with this energy. Red. Or sometimes with two arms like that, a little bit moving, not always in parallel. Red. 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 And red. At this moment, feel all of these surfaces in my body. And here I feel the strength right into my muscles. Not the selflessness of yellow, the kind blue, but obviously we have something of the four temperaments in yellow, blue, green, and red. For those of you who know temperaments, yellow would be sanguine, red is choleric, green, phlegmatic, blue, and melancholic. That's especially important with children. With the adults, We need to get to know our entire palette of colors, our entire palette of temperaments, so that we can use our energy however we need it for life as it meets us. So let's do red again 3 times. Red and red and red. Thank you. In a few more lessons, we'll also deal with a more gentle red, a more pure, chaste red, the red of the rose. But right now, we need to work a bit with the extra dramatic quality of hot red. We have that then reflected in the poem that we did at the beginning. And so let's just practice that to give you a little flavor of how the colors can wash into or be employed in poems. I am brave, I am strong. This is a calling for you, for us, for the children to come into the fire force of their blood with enthusiastic power. So the gestures are filled with, I would say, full-bloodedness. I'll do an A here. I am brave. But with my A, I'm really pushing into space like this. I am brave. I'm not doing, I am brave. Soft, I am brave. I push into it. And then in Eurythmy, pushing into it is done according to the laws of color and not according to the laws of drama, which would, no, I just color, practice using my red ether. So follow me. I am brave. I am strong. I am valiant. I am bold. I hope you're getting hot by doing this. For the sun fills my heart with its life-giving gold. I am helpful and truthful and loving and free. For the sun's golden rays do shine brightly in me. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'm not teaching you this to show you how to do it with children. I'm speaking to you as adult learners. If I do this with children, I feel my own strength, but I don't tell them, be sure to do this with red energy. Or I don't teach them the redness. They're not ready for this. They learn out of imitation, and they can only imitate me if I have firmly embodied everything about it myself. Then they can imitate something real. But if I give them just words, feel red, it's really in danger of becoming an abstraction. So I'm sure a few of you are wondering how to do this with your children, but it's more complex than it sounds in the beginning. All right. Let's go now into the 5 major vowels. Again, if this is new for you, go back to the YouTube and watch module 2, where we went through the 5 major vowels. Today we'll do all 5 of the major vowels again. And then next week we will add ow and I and start to look at a few other vowels. But remember the sequence of vowels. I'm going to say them now, a, e, I, o. I'll say them strongly. Perhaps you'd like to say them with me, noticing how the ah is open-throated, the oo is done with the lips forwards. These 5 major vowels in this order express a progression of soul activity from innocence to maturity. Let's say them, or I'll say them. You can speak or listen. Ah, e, E, O, U. Again, I'm going to do it in profile. Through that, a little bit dramatically show the movement from back to front with the 5 vowels. This is a speech study and not primarily a eurythmy study. The ah is in back. Ah, e, e, o, o. Thank you. You saw how I leaned from back to forwards. The primary experience of the vowel ah is that it's receptive. It reflects the stage of the innocent human, if you will. And the ooh is going towards the future. Once again. Ah, e, e, o, u. Thank you. That was demonstrative, but it, I hope, helps you to understand our point of departure for doing the vowels. So let's remember how to create these experiences in their movement equivalent. Ah is wonder, A is boundaries, E is uprightness, O is embrace, and U is striving. I speak, you maintain silence, and you move with me, but without speaking. Ah, e, e, o, u. And rest. Again, this time I won't speak it either, but I'll put a few words in to guide your experience. With the ah, I open, and the more perfect my openness is, the more perfectly I can be filled. The world streams into me, and I accept, I receive from creation. With the A, I create separation and boundaries. It gives me the capacity for understanding. A is focus. With E, I discover this golden light in my heart. And by virtue of that, I balance heaven and earth. Equal energy in both arms. Please don't let yourself become too upwards and don't look up. The task is to feel both up and down equally. It doesn't matter which arm is up. From here, we overcome the self-absorption and look for realization in community. So we create the O. You, everyone is as important, I should say more important than I am. We only realize ourselves through connection to the others. And with ooh, we take all of creation and I lead it back to the Creator, or I root it in the heavens, even as I am rooted on earth. Ooh. All right, we'll do this with a small amount of movement, backwards and forwards. Remember, whenever we go backwards, we feel the light behind us open to the heavens. So we'll go backwards with ah. Ah. Coming forward, come into this world, if you will, into focus. A. I'll go back with E, balancing all space. E. I'll make a circle, and remember what we're learning with circles. Make a circle with O. to the right, in front, staying in front. Oh, and now my feeling is behind me. Oh, and forwards with ooh, feet together. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. Remember to keep your gaze neutral as you go, don't look up. Going backwards. Ah. A. E. O. Ooh. Good. One more time. Feeling the directions you're going to, going back as you create wonder. Ah. Coming forward, feel the whole front of your body as you move into this A. Backwards with E. The O likes to be on a circle. It's really inherent. Oh. Oh. Ooh. And rest. Thank you. I love to do the vowels on a 5-pointed star. That's part of what I practice most of the time, but I wanted to do this order so that we also get the circular O. Now, let's go and look at those circles again for a moment, and then it spirals. We started with the circles last week, and I know they're difficult. I wish I could tell you how long it takes us Eurythmists to learn how to practice circles. So let's review that just a little bit. I expect that you had problems with it. So let me just review these rules. The centripetal circle would have the middle point right there in front of me. If I'm going forwards, sorry, if I'm going back, of course it's back there. I always know where my center will be. And if I did a centripetal circle, I would go around that. However, a centripetal circle is more related to the physical laws of gravity. So I usually, in Eurythmy, do a centrifugal circle connected to the periphery. One time, let's do a centripetal circle. There's my center because I chose to put it in front of me. It's over there. Now the center is behind me. Now it's there. And now it's there. It can be very useful for you as a Eurythmist to practice that, or a student to know how to do that. But much harder and much more eurythmical is to practice the centrifugal circle, where you feel, you know where the center is, but you feel that you're relating to the periphery forces all the way around. That is hard. So as I start, here I've got one arm tethered to the stars, go around, I'm tethered to a point out there. This gets more tricky. In front of me, the place that I'm relating to, not leaning forwards, but I'm feeling there. Over here, and I know where my center is, and this is the killer, right? We know that going around here, I have to feel what's back there and there and there until I arrive, feeling behind me. If I exaggerated this, it would look like this. Yeah, and around and back. But I don't want to do that. I want to stay upright and feel all those points. Even as I stand upright, but I'm feeling connected to the world all. Why is that important? As I said later on, when we do forms in Eurythmy, we have to be able to move in all these directions fluently. You're not in a training. You won't do all of those. But I at least want to show you how to do a spiral. And I sent you that information on the PDF. So I'll do a spiral forwards. I'm headed to this point. The question will be how big a spiral I want to make. I could make one that's as gorgeous as a conch shell, which will go around and around and around and around and around. And unwinding, we could make a big one, or I could make a simple spiral that just has one curve in, one curve out, and to the left and out. And we want to know how to do any kind of spiral, as many circles as we're going to need, but we should create the intention of how big a spiral we're going to do before we start. Otherwise, we'll get lost on the journey. So I'll do a simple spiral around once, go in front of my point, behind it, and a little bit in front and land in my center. Simple spiral. So I start here, centripetal, centrifugal, feeling way out. And now the center is calling me in. So I start to get smaller and smaller, and I arrive. Now I unspiral, and my striving is to not leave any part of the circle out. Try to the left, and we can use the words, look into yourself, and you will find the world. Look into the world, and you will find yourself. And again, look into yourself, and you will find the world. Look into the world, and you will find yourself. Look into yourself, and you will find the world. Look into the world, and you will find yourself. Thank you. Perhaps you notice I hit the wall. I'm not used to this room, right? Little humor from me. Before we close today, I'm going to show you how this is used on the poem that we're working on, Into the Depths of the Earth. This, what I'm going to do right now, is just a seed, but you can start to practice it. Fortunately, you'll have the YouTube video, so you'll be able to watch it and start to go deeper with it. Because until now, we have been doing these straight lines, the cross. And now for the final verse of the poem, we're going to do an outwinding spiral. So much fun. So we don't have much time left. I will just work it through with you, and you can learn it and practice it this week. I start in the center of my cross. I begin by going forwards on the cross as the speaker, the reciter, speaks the poem, or as I hear it inwardly. And so you might come towards your computer if you're moving with me, into the depths of the earth. Now I return to the center. Lead the path that we tread. I'm in center. I go back and feel stars, while from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. I feel illumined by front and back. Now I do left, right, 3 steps. We stand on the earth. 5 steps. We are chained in matter. 3 steps, but we are free. The next line of the poem talks about light and dark. For we go between darkness, 5 steps back, and light, 5 steps forward, and of darkness and light. Come back to your center. Are we? Now, for the last verse that I haven't done with you yet, we're going to do an unwinding spiral out of this earth incarnation into darkness, into light, further into darkness, and further into light. An outwinding spiral starting forwards. My very first movement of the spiral, of course, is a curve. It's a tiny curve to the left, and then I continue outwinding in a clockwise direction. Or, technically speaking, I start going forwards tiny from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Back to 6, forwards to 12, back to 6, clockwise. Ready. This is just one time we'll do it today, so watch carefully. And the path that we tread leads us on till we come once again to the light. And ever descend we anew, and ever return to the light. Thank you. And my intention is to really let this experience grow as we go towards the festivals that come at the end of October, the beginning of November. So please fold your arms, bring your practice to a close, and ground yourself. And rest. Thank you so much. We have, 7 minutes left, I think. And so I would love it if we engage in questions and conversation for a few minutes. And Michelle, as always, is going to be my translator because I don't look at my screen. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, my dear. It is my pleasure to be your translator.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Christine brought us a question earlier on. She said, the blue circle confused me, especially the part where you were speaking about the circle being behind you. I thought we were walking around the perimeter.
So, Christine, I very much hope that when we went back and reviewed the circle, then at the end, that you could understand what I meant. I was able to expound on what I meant when we looked at the circle in more detail. So what I was speaking about was that we're doing a centrifugal, a center fleeing circle. So whenever I'm on the back half of the circle, I'm feeling the part of the circle behind me. Do I need to keep going? So when I come here, my point, even if I'm doing blue, my point of reference is behind me. And now I'm in the front half of the circle. So I am walking the perimeter, but I keep the circle round by relating to the stars around me. Maybe this helps too. If I just relate to the perimeter, it would be very almost linear like this, very obediently straight. But I want to be eurythmical, so I let it breathe with air and light. Hope that helps.
Yes. And in the chat, she said, yes, that did help.
Good.
Okay. Sangeetha said, what are the benefits or purpose of doing color exercises?
Oh, it just expands your life, doesn't it? It
Well,
helps us to understand the temperaments. It helps us to understand our own soul moods, our sadnesses, our joys, and so on. And later, when we do poetry, we integrate it into the poem. As we did with I am brave, I am strong, we have learned how to be our brave self, our red self, or our nurturing blue self, and so on. They are realities, and we get to know them.
Oh, wait a minute. That's a consonant. We're in the vowels. Okay. Joanne said, is the E the Christ gesture?
Yes. Yes, it is. And that is going to the very deep hearts of it. And as we all know, we are all growing towards being able to do this E perfectly. But the archetype of Christ as what we are to become as human beings. Yes, that's the E.
There we go. Richard's question is, he says, you did a T with I am truthful, but
And
previous.
last time I did an ooh, yes. Forgive me, forgive me.
Well, his real question is, does it make a difference?
No, I think we could reformulate that. Yes, it makes a difference. Is one better than the other? No. If we're in a vowel on a block on vowels, then it's more correct if I stick with the oohs. But I actually like to do a truthful T and ooh with it. But
Well,
we're still in a beginner's class, right? So sorry.
there you have it. Let's see. Elizabeth said, is anything to be said about the movement of the eyes?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for asking. We need to keep the gaze straight. So straight. Please don't look up or look down unless it's really inherent to the poem, but not just because you're feeling upness or down. It's so unfortunate if people feel they have to lift up to do the ah. Look, if I do an ah like this, I'm stretching my whole torso. I'm leaving my ground. So I do this, for instance, with the ah, keeping my head straight. And as I said before, but in doing that, I'm opening my crown. I'm opening all of my energy upwards without losing power by looking up. There's another thing that I do, and if you've already become a bit sensitive, you'll get it, that my focal distance changes a little bit and naturally. So if I work with soft eyes, and if I'm really going out, my eyes are really shining into the distance. But if I'm working on a more introspective moment, my focal point changes and I'm more here. I'm still moving all the space around me, but I'm drawing the space towards me, or I'm giving the space out. Hope you can see the difference. If we were in a live class, I'd show you. Yeah.
It's coming through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Tish said, during the poem, I am brave, I am strong, what is the gesture during the words shine brightly with swinging arms left and right? What is
Can
this?
you
What
can
is
you wait 1 week? Because those are the eye gestures. That's the gesture I.
There we
Next week
go.
we'll start looking at combination vowels.
Okay,
It's
so
a teaser.
stay with us. And yes, thank you for that question. And then Ben, let me find you, Ben. There we go. Okay, so Ben's question is, Ben, you may need to help me with this because it looks like a derivative of Michael, but He says, who is, Ben, do you want to chime in here?
Oh yeah, just the Michael, or we were doing the poems. I wasn't sure what the folklore of that person. I don't know if he's a deity or what he, how he exists. Yeah, thank you.
Such a great question. Maybe you weren't here on the first series of this session. There is so much to say. Where did I give my talk? Online, Benjamin, on the YouTube videos. On September 29th, I gave a talk. You'll find it there about who Michael is. From in the words that we use in Christian or esoteric Christian language or in anthroposophy, Michael is an archangel, so he's 2 or even more levels above us, and he represents the courage that we need, particularly in this age, the courage to fight the dragon of materialism, of consumerism, of nihilism. So he stands for what we humans need to be learning as we go through these dark times, personally and in evolution, and always working towards the good. Listen to my talk.
So Ben joined us this webinar, and that talk was the last session of webinar 3. And so Ben asked, same as Archangel Michael in catechism or no?
Yes, it's the same. And Ben, if you hang around with Eurythmy and anthroposophy a little bit longer, you'll find that anthroposophy helps to illuminate all those things on a whole different level. You'll get a deeper understanding.
There we go. And he says September 29th date. I'll look it up. So good for you.
But look at my talk. Yeah, it was on the 29th, was it? Or was it on the 22nd?
It was on the 29th.
Okay.
Okay, that is the end of our time and the end of our questions. And
wow.
There we go. Lots of gratitude, but you'll get to read that in just a few.
Thank you so much. Good people. I know I'm giving you a lot, and I wish I could meet you so much. And I look forward to being able to, and I really hope that you're keeping up with all this richness. I hope you're keeping up. And you can write to me. And thank you again for your letters and for your donations. Makes it all possible. Thank you.